Hello. Hello, this is the Maya Artifact episode number 3820, maybe. I'm not really sure. Today's date is 16th of January 2026. It's been almost like a morning at 9:11 a.m. It's very cold up here. Okay, yeah. Whatever. Let's just jump into the question. Okay, yeah. The question is, what if words could mend relationship? Mend, M-E-N-D, mend relationship. Alright, yeah. Okay. First of all, what exactly is this question, and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question has always been really interested waiting with the answer. It kind of like forced me to think about that reality. When I try to think about that reality, or when I try to create that reality inside of my mind, I'm kind of like utilizing my knowledge and information and experience that I've been through, and somehow it kind of like felt good. Disclaimer: the information that I'm trying to tell you is not exactly right or is not exactly wrong either. It's a raw, it's unfiltered, it's just my opinion. So do not believe in any kind of like information that I am saying, or do not seek for any kind of like information that I'm saying. It's just my opinion, and opinion are subjective. Now, regarding about the question says that, what if the words could mend the relationship? Now, what exactly mend the relationship? Mend the relationship means what? A kind of like a fixing the relationship, or a kind of like a something that you fix something. So, does words could kind of like a something mend or fix the relationship? Yes, I think yes. It definitely yes. Okay. Now, what exactly word? What exactly is this thing? I'm gonna give you kind of a couple of scenario. Okay, yeah, and you have to understand this. Okay, yeah. I don't know why. Like basically, at the moment, I'm kind of like thinking about something, and kind of like something. I'm not into the kind of like a zone of kind of like recording the artifact, because I was kind of like thinking about like so many stuff. Okay, yeah, and and suddenly I'm kind of like a recording artifact. I just my head is kind of like a blind and things and that. Like when I kind of like record the artifact, I want that my full attention while recording the artifact. But while I was kind of like thinking about something, so it just, yeah, whatever. So words could fix the relationship. Definitely, it is, yeah. But how? Well, how is what? Like basically, I don't know. Is like saying something really good things to the people. It is kind of like something that you are fixing the relationship and things like that. Okay, what I realized that ki in we are a kind of like a human, and we are a social animal too, and basically is this thing that ki we always want respect. Okay, yeah. Now, what exactly respect means? What exactly is this thing? Okay, so basically is this thing that ki you don't like a kind of like a some particular person who kind of like a mock you and things and that and that. It felt miserable. One thing. Uh, Another thing is that ki it felt miserable. It felt wrong. It felt like like not good in every possible situation and things like that. Okay, yeah. We are always want respect us, like we always want that people should supposed to be respect us, but like respect is a kind of like a very big word that people actually consider that respect is like, oh yeah, it's like, respect is not kind of like a things that like like okay, how do I supposed to explain? It's a very okay, yeah. So imagine you are here. Okay, you are here. Okay, yeah. So you want, like let's just say you are here. Okay, this is you, and you are here. Your status, you whatever you are here. Okay, yeah. Now you are here means what? You are here means what? Like that. Like imagine you are here. Okay, yeah. Now basically is this thing when someone kind of like a mock you and things and that and that and that, you feel like you are less here, like you actually you okay, it's very hard to explain this thing. Okay, but I'm gonna kind of like simply understand this thing. Okay, so imagine this is you, and this is the level of your respect. Okay, and this is the level of the respect that you want, that people should supposed to be respect like this. Okay, yeah, they should. If the people who kind of like giving you respect this much level, then it is okay. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, but if the people who actually kind of like giving you little less respect, then it kind of like feel really hurtful. Example, when the people mock you, they kind of like simply give you that much respect. Okay, so which is kind of like a lesser than that. Okay, so when it's kind of like a lesser than that, it kind of like a feel like that ki I lose my respect, or I kind of like simply lost the thing and that and that. Because why is that thing? Why do we have kind of like respect in the first place? Is because of we are social animal. We are kind of like a simply evolved through kind of like a people around us and things and that and that. Okay. Example is this thing that ki if your neighbor kind of like a bought the car, you also want to bought the car and things like that. Okay. Your surrounding are kind of like a influence in a much more better way. Okay, yeah. You wanted to be kind of like a part of something, or you wanted to part of that community of the people and things like that. So that's why you don't do any kind of like a stupid stuff and things like that. If you do something stupid stuff, then it kind of like a something that ki you are considered something very different or that. Okay, now different means what? Like a different means I'm not going to talk about different thing. I'm going to talk about in the society. Like an example is just saying all your friends are actually going to the vacation in abroad. Okay, yeah. So you also want to go into the abroad and things like that, even if you are not really affording and things, but you also wanted to go there. You are kind of like a take the loan and things and that and that. Now why is that? Is because of that key because of that key we wanted to be part of that group of people or group of that community and things like that. So that's why if the everyone are doing it, I also do the thing. Like if the everyone kind of like took the engineering, then I also took the engineering too. So this is what it is. This is what kind of like a something that key go with the flow, or kind of like a blend in the situation and things like that. Okay, yeah. And why do people do that thing? Is because of that key they wanted to be part of that surrounding and group and things like that. One thing. Another thing is that why does people are kind of like do something different than group, is because of that it kind of like a something very weird, and it kind of like a feels like that key. Imagine a scenario that like a 10 people are actually walking from kind of like a left to right. Okay, yeah, but one of you person are kind of like a going from right to left. Okay, yeah. So when you try to do this thing, you are kind of like a facing the resistance. You are kind of like a facing the resistance. One thing. Another thing is that it is hard. It is hard. Like basically imagine this is a flow of the river, and you are kind of like a somebody swimming against the flow. Obviously you have to kind of like a swim a lot of faster, you have to kind of like a spend a lot of energy and things and that and that. Okay, then you will kind of like a somebody, yeah, it is very hard and things like that. But if you swim like the flow of the river, then it's kind of like a very easy to flow and things like that. Like basically this is what kind of like some physics and kind of like some the natural selection process actually happen like this way. Like if everyone are kind of like doing the things, you also do the thing. It doesn't really matter that it kind of like a something right thing for you or wrong thing for you. You just have to go with the flow and things like that. If you're still not really understanding this thing, I took the engineering college, or like I want to take the engineering college is because of that key influence around me, that everyone kind of like want to do kind of like engineering college and things like that. Okay, yeah. Like let me tell you one thing. Look at you. Okay, look inside of you, and kind of like something analyze yourself regarding about your influence and regarding about how you kind of like so much kind of like equivalent to like them. Okay, yeah, equivalent to like them. Even if you have kind of like a little less money or maybe something, but still you are kind of like wanted to be part of that group and things and that. Because yeah, it's kind of like some community is actually influence us, and that's why we just wanted to be part of that kind of like a community people and things and that. Now what is actually respect? A respect means like that ki when we put the effort to part of this community of the people, yeah, it is really required to put the effort to part of the community of the people. Okay, it is really required more effort to kind of like go against the community. Okay, but we are not talking about that. We are talking about that ki if we are wanted to kind of like a part of the community, then probably it really required effort to be part of that community and things like that. Okay, yeah. Now that effort that you put, it, you know that how much effort that you put. Okay, example is this thing that ki my society kind of like a tell me that ki you have to complete your graduation, you have to go to the engineering college, you have to get a job and things and that and that. Now this is a kind of like a typical life path. Okay, yeah, but it is also very hard too. It's not really that easy. Okay, yeah, like you are kind of like a complete your graduation, you are fail, you are try, you fail, you try, you complete your graduation, then you kind of like a do your job. In the job there is a lot of fucked up people are kind of like a somebody, lot of fucked up thing happen, but still after this thing you are kind of like sticking and doing your job and things like that. Life is very hard, yeah, and everyone are kind of like wanted to be part of this group, so you know that how much effort that you put to kind of like get this normal life and things like that, you know that thing. And also I knew this thing because I put this effort and things like that. So basically this thing, everyone knows how much they put the effort and things like that. So when they put the effort and they kind of like things that ki, I am a kind of like a particular person who deserve to be part of the society, so that's why I have this much respect. Okay, do you understand? So I have this much respect, and I also want that people should supposed to be respect till this level. Okay, yeah, if the people who kind of like are giving me respect this much, then it is okay, yeah. Like basically if I'm kind of like giving me respect and this much, it is okay. If people are kind of like giving me this less respect, then probably it's not really okay. Now first of all is that why do we kind of like first of all, why do we kind of like validate for respect? What exactly is this thing? Why is that? Okay, let me tell you one thing now. Okay, in day-to-day life, okay, there is no one who kind of like somebody giving you affirmation word, like you are doing something really good and things and that. Very very less people who kind of like somebody give you that key you are doing something really right thing. Okay, yeah, like basically this thing, it is very easy to point out wrong thing towards the people. Why? Because it's a kind of like some human thought process, it's a kind of like some human, the way that we are and things like that. We always kind of like find a kind of like what is really wrong thing and things and that. Okay, yeah. Now because of we are kind of like somebody very easy or very kind of like somebody very good at to pointing what is really wrong thing, it is also very hard to us to kind of like give the affirmation word to someone else. What is that affirmation word? Affirmation word means like that ki I like you, I love you, or I care for you, I proud for you, I kind of like giving you respect and things and that. Okay, yeah, and it is kind of like somebody very like it's non-existence. Like basically is this thing, do I get any kind of like affirmation word throughout my entire life from somebody? I probably nothing. I might get like let me tell you one thing, I'm kind of like a content creation, I'm kind of like creating content and things like that. People are kind of like something giving me a lot of good stuff that ki, yeah, you are doing something really good and things and that. It kind of like felt really good because I'm kind of like somebody doing this content creation and my work is kind of like somebody somewhat something kind of like somebody represent the society, represent the people and things like that. So they just, yeah, but like you are the normal people, I am the normal people too. Okay, and basically our work is not actually showcased to the people and things like that, or maybe it kind of like a showcase, but people don't really kind of like a giving fuck of them, nothing really at all. Okay, so when this actually happened, then probably what is actually happened that key, like basically we don't really get the affirmation word. Ask this question to yourself honestly, when did you get last time kind of like a said something kind of like a good thing to you? Okay, no one, probably no one. Yeah, then this is kind of like true by the way, because the affirmation word that we are get are very less. Okay, yeah, so this is what it is. Okay, so basically we don't really get the kind of like affirmation word every single day, so we just wanted to kind of like that key lack of it. We just want that somebody kind of like said something that key I did something really good and things like that. Why is that? Because I'm putting the effort now. I'm putting the effort from every single time to kind of like something that try to do make my life really good at things like that and that. I'm putting a lot of effort in every possible scenario and things and that, and that's why I need a kind of like a little bit kind of like a something that key affirmation word from someone. Okay, yeah, and that is a kind of like a lack of it. Now when we didn't really get that affirmation word is kind of like a simply converted into the respect, that we think that I want this respect because lack of affirmation, because we don't really get that affirmation. So we are actually consider ourselves that this is my respect. Okay, yeah, this is my respect and I want this kind of like respect. Okay, yeah, if people get me this much respect, that is good. If people are giving me very less respect, it's not good. It is not really good. So that's why we just want a kind of like some respect. It is matter, and it is utmost essential thing in every sector. Like basically is this thing, if you are kind of like such a person that you don't really get love, or maybe kind of like somebody is that you don't really kind of like you don't really get kind of like food for life and things like that. But if you lost the respect, it kind of like a hurt. Like if you can able to lose anything, like you are kind of like somebody such a person that you are capable enough to lose everything, like basically money, people, or maybe kind of like somewhat something kind of like essential thing. But when you lose the respect, your brain just like, oh my god, fuck. Like this is the thing that I don't want to lose. And this is what this is not just me, this everyone does it. Everyone has this kind of like something that I want this respect. Okay, yeah, and I don't want to lose that respect and things like that. Okay, yeah. So that's why everyone want to protect their respect. Now it's a very hard to describe this thing. I'm gonna kind of like give you a couple of scenario that you might gonna resonate. First of all is that a kind of like assembly, when the kind of like assembly in the public, okay, people who are kind of like assembly fighting, they accelerate very much. Okay, they accelerate very much. Like example is this thing, I kind of like a seen a kind of like a some particular scenario. What is actually happened that there is a guy who is kind of like a somebody driving. Okay, yeah, and there is also another guy is also driving. Okay, yeah. Now suddenly this guy is actually kind of like a turn it to right. Okay, yeah, without any indication and things and that. Okay, yeah. Now because of this thing, this guy was kind of like a driving this direction, he kind of like a put the brakes and things like that. But it's kind of like a somebody that thing is kind of like happened so fast. So basically is this thing, they both bike is kind of like a crash on each other, but not too much. There is no kind of like so much loss happened. There is no kind of like a bleed happened, nothing at all. They just crash. Obviously the vehicle is also not really damaged that much, but it kind of like a damage little bit, not that much. Yeah, okay. So it is not really kind of like a something is this thing that it's not a kind of like a bigger issue and things like that. But what is actually happened, that the person who kind of like somebody took the wrong turn, he is a guilty for it. He, because of this thing, he kind of like accident got. Okay, yeah. But he kind of like somebody like a basically stand up, took the guy and just slap him, like literally slap him on his cheek. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this guy, like basically the person who kind of like somebody turned right without giving indicator and things and that, he is a kind of like a guilty. He should supposed to be punished, but he's the guy who's kind of like a came and kind of like a slapped that another person. I was like, what the fuck is okay, yeah. Look at the confidence level. Okay, but okay, chaos is not stop here. Okay, then what is actually happened? The particular guy who kind of like somebody, he doesn't really have any kind of like somebody like a blame or things like that. He was kind of like doing his stuff. He just kind of like he was not guilty and things like that. But he was also really angry and he also slapped. Oh, like what the fuck? Literally, he also slapped that guy, and suddenly, within a second, it was fighting, like legitly WWE fighting. Okay, yeah, he was kind of like a slapping, he was kind of like things and fighting. There is no word exchange at all. There is no nothing really happened. Like he was kind of like saying, "Teri maa ki chut mother ben ko okay, I was kind of like looking at from distance. I was kind of looking at this scenario and things like that. Okay, yeah, and suddenly that thing was kind of like a get more bigger. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you one thing. When the accident happened, no one got hurt. Probably nothing. They just kind of like the both bike are kind of like bump on each other and they just fall down. That's it. Okay, there is no kind of like a hurt happened. There is nothing really at all. But because of they started doing fighting, they are kind of like somebody too much fighting went insane, and they just kind of like not only the slapping, they are kind of like utilizing whatever the thing that they get, like some guy who kind of like take the kind of like a stone and kind of like try try to hit that particular person, but somehow that particular person kind of like a dodge that, and yeah, if he didn't really dodge, then probably that guy head is kind of like a broken, things like that. Suddenly people are came over and kind of like somebody try to do this thing and that and that. Now what I realize, what exactly is this thing, that ki when somebody hurt you in a private space and things like that where no one is around, then you don't really feel that much hurtful. Okay, you don't really feel that much hurtful. But when, like, basically it's this thing, when someone disrespect you in a closed cabinet or in a kind of like a simply closed environment where no one is actually involved and things like that, just you and the person who kind of like disrespecting you, that's thing, you don't really feel that much wrong. Okay, yeah. But if that same person who kind of like giving you disrespect in front of entire people, it felt way wrong, way much wrong. Why is that? As I mentioned, our respect matter. If the respect spoil in front of one person, that is okay. But if our respect spoil in front of 100 people, that is not okay. That is not okay. Okay, yeah. So in the public, we are always want to kind of like protect our kind of like respect and things and that. Okay, yeah. But if that respect is actually spoiled in front of 100 of people, we just like a fuck off and things like that. And this is what exactly happened in the public space. That particular person slapped this guy. Okay, yeah. So these guys also have a kind of like a tendency that I do have a respect. Why the fuck this non person guy kind of like a slapped in on my head and things like that. I also kind of like a hit him very hard. So he was kind of like a hit him very hard, and he was kind of like hitting very hard. So basically, both our people are not fighting because of what exactly happened. No, they are fighting is because of that. That particular guy, he kind of like a slap me in front of people. And because of this particular guy is actually hit me, slap me in front of the people, so I also slap him in front of the people. So they just wants, they both are wants to kind of like somebody hit one each other, is because of that they both kind of like somebody slaughtered their respect in front of the people and things like that. And why they fight is because of that they don't really know each other and things and that. So they just kind of like a, yeah. So this is what it is. This is what kind of like chaos happened and things that. And I think that this is a kind of like some reason because of the war is actually happened and things and that in history. Not today, but in history. Okay. So this is what it is. Okay, yeah. So let me tell you one thing. Why this disrespect happened? Okay, there are couple of way to kind of like give the disrespect, or there are couple of way to kind of like give you little less respect. Okay, yeah. What are the ways? First of all is that physical violence and things like that. But in today's world, we are not doing it that. And also is this thing, when we are do physical violence, then it considered wrong. Even if you are right, it considered as a wrong. So physical violence, people are not choose, and it's not thing. Okay. So what is exactly a way that we should supposed to be kind of like a disrespect someone else, or what is actually way to kind of like somebody giving less respect to someone else? Verbal. Your words. Okay, yeah. And also words are but bit more kind of like a something crazy, or bit more kind of like a something is this thing that ki dangerous than violence, because in the violence you are not seeing the intention. Okay, yeah. Example is this thing that ki somebody guy kind of like a hit you, but not in an intention way, a kind of like a accident way. So you just say, okay, that is fine. Hit you means like that suddenly kind of like a somebody dhakka, or someone kind of like a someone kind of like hit you in the back and things like that. It's not kind of like a somebody that he just wants to, but there is a kind of like a things that ki, sir, I'm sorry, it just, yeah. And if that another person kind of like a said sorry after he hit you, he will say, yeah, that is okay, it's accident and things like that. It's every day actually happen in Mumbai local train and things like that. Okay, and people are kind of like a cool with that. But the person who kind of like intentionally kind of like somebody hit you, it kind of like something little bit hard and things like that. But there are very less people who kind of like intentionally hurt you in a physical violence, nothing at all. But in a word violence, people are hurt you. Okay, yeah, with intentionally, with unintentionally too, and it is kind of like a felt. Yeah. So what is actually way? Words. Okay, yeah. And words are a bit more kind of like a somebody bit more something that ki crazy, bit more kind of like a something powerful than violence and things like that. Okay, yeah. Now words are the only one thing that kind of like a somebody hurt somebody, okay, or disrespect somebody, or giving less respect to the somebody. Words are the only one thing, but words are the only one thing that kind of like somebody giving up the respect, or words are the only one thing that kind of like shows the love and things and that and that. If you utilize your words in kind of like a much more better way, then you can make the world much more peaceful, much more better, much more bigger in everything. But those words are also capable enough to kind of like simply create the chaos or create the war and things and that and that. Only words. So words has a words shabd, okay, they have kind of like a lot of power in that thing. Okay, do you understand this thing? Okay, so the question is that ki can words fix the relationship? Yes, it is yes. Okay, show little bit respect, not too much. Okay, now specifically the question represent the relationship. Now relationship, I'm not gonna count the relationship as a boy girl relationship. I'm gonna count the every relationship, like we have a relationship with everybody, your father, your mother, your sister, your people around you, your friends and things and that. Everyone has the relationship. Okay, yeah. Now how do we supposed to fix the relationship and things like that? By words. Kind of like a somewhat something, try not to hurt them first, okay, or try not to mock them first. Okay, yeah, this is the first thing that you should like. Basically some people have a habit of disrespect somebody or mock somebody. I seen a lot of people, and they don't really have intention, but they are habitual. They are habitual to kind of like only mock somebody or things and that, or kind of like a teach somebody or things and that and that. Okay, yeah. Now it is very much common, and I know some people who are kind of like a really they have habitual regarding about mocking somebody and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. So basically everyone have their respect and things like that. So what should you supposed to do is that when somebody kind of like a mock you, kind of like a give them proper treatment. Treatment means what? Like a basically, no, not that treatment. I'm thinking that ki, dude, let's just say, dude, this is the boundary that you shouldn't supposed to be cross. Don't mock me or don't do anything at all. If the person who understand you, or if the person would understand very immediately that ki he would know that ki by my words other person got hurtful and things like that. So tell them directly that ki you shouldn't supposed to say this thing. Okay, yeah, with proper tone and things and that and that. Normal people would understand, almost like a 90 people would gonna understand this thing, that ki okay, that particular person will gonna hurt because of the words, because I mock and things and that and that. So kind of like a tell them very properly that you shouldn't supposed to do this thing. Okay, yeah, with kind of like a very polite, not polite, but kind of like a somebody say this thing, don't do this thing. Okay, yeah, like basically this is the kind of like a stuff that you have to do. Okay, yeah. Now 10% of the people who would kind of like a still mock you is because of they are habitual. Okay, they are kind of like a habitual because their body, their mind, they're kind of like a work like that way. They just wants to kind of like a mock somebody. They just don't want to kind of like a somebody just, yeah, it's their mind works like that way. Okay, they are not kind of like doing intentionally. They are habitual regarding about that. I know a couple of people, okay, who are kind of like that thing. Okay, so if those are people are around you, then probably just don't listen to them or ignore them. Probably this might be kind of like a really good. Okay, yeah. Whatever, what I'm trying to tell you is this: how do you supposed to fix the relationship? Okay, yeah. First of all is that do not kind of like a disrespect or do not mock somebody. One thing. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that try not to say too much affirmation. Okay, I like you, I love you, you are my baby and things and that, and that is also not okay. Yeah, try not to do too much. When you do too much, then it kind of like a felt a fake. Okay, yeah, and when it became fake, then people are kind of like me staying away from you. Okay, yeah, because when you like a when you kind of like showing the fake thing, it's not good. Okay, yeah. So try not to do too much affirmation. Okay, yeah. What exactly is this thing? How do you supposed to fix the relationship? First of all is that if your relationship broke, okay, yeah, obviously is this thing that you are not able to communicate that much. So make communication first. Okay, and how do you supposed to communicate? Is because of try not to do kind of like a disrespect. give them little bit of space, and say kind of like I said, hi, I wanted to talk to you, would you talk to me? At least like just like ask a kind of like a permission to talk to them. Okay, and do not just started talking them, ask the permission first. Okay, yeah. So when you ask the permission, other person kind of like say this thing, okay, this particular person wants to talk to me because you wanted to kind of like simply build the relationship, or you wanted to fix the relationship between. Okay, yeah. So try to talk. Okay, yeah. Try not to talk about kind of like a simply the problem in between you, but talk about something that kind of like a simply add value in you, or something like that, or something fun thing. Okay, or something kind of like a somebody of fun stuff or things like that. When you try to talk like that, okay, yeah. Also, communication much more better way. Okay, yeah, let me tell you one thing. Sometimes when you try to do communication, other people are not want to communicate. That is also possible. That is also possible. He even gonna say no, I don't have a time to talk with you and things and that. It is okay. It is okay. It is okay, because that particular person is actually hurt by you. So it is so it takes time. It takes time. It depends on person to person. It takes time. But you have to put the effort every single day. Do not put the effort every single time. Okay, yeah. Like, don't just kind of like somebody call, say I wanted to talk to you, no, I'm gonna say, and then after 1 hour, no, you don't do that. It's not okay, yeah. Give them space, at least like a day. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing that give them kind of like a somebody something a permission as well as space too, so that they are want to talk. So basically you just kind of like say, today I kind of like say, hi, I wanted to talk with you, and that particular say, no, I will not gonna talk with you. Says, yeah, okay, sure, okay, and that is, yeah, fine, and that's it. Okay, whenever kind of like somebody something happen or something is this thing, I use a kind of like some affirmation word that, hey, you look good, thank you. So basically it's this thing that if I'm gonna say, hey, you look good, it's not too much, it's not too less, it just, hey, you look good. Okay, yeah, that's it. Like basically the visual appearance is also matter. People are kind of like putting a lot of effort regarding about the way that they look and things like that. So give them a little bit of affirmation, just little bit, just, hey, you look good, and says thank you, that's it. Okay, yeah. Or probably good morning. Okay, yeah, good morning would be really good. But in personal people, you shouldn't supposed to do good morning. Like usually good morning are usually word are associated with the professionalism, because if you are in professional, then you should supposed to utilize good morning. But in the personal, like the people you wanted to kind of like somebody build the relationship or things like that, say you look good. Okay, probably this might be kind of like a workout in much more better way. Okay, another thing is that give them like let them know that you are putting effort to build the relationship or build the fixing the problem or fixing the relationship. Okay, yeah. Try every single day. Okay, yeah. Do you have a time to things? Obviously one day she will gonna reject, second day she will gonna reject, third day she might gonna say, okay, yeah, I will gonna listen to this guy, and then you talk. Okay, yeah. Not too much talk, but not kind of like it's only too less. Like basically you will gonna say, hey, can I talk? And says, yeah, okay, yeah, what do you want to talk? Like basically regarding about her response, you just kind of like scared and little bit say, no, I thought you might not talk today, so yeah, I just want to kind of like only spend little bit time. If you have a time or not, then that is also okay. And she will gonna say, she might gonna smile or things or that, or probably she will gonna talk, but talk a little bit something regarding about that key. Like I don't know how do I supposed to explain. Like I am not really been in this relationship stuff. I'm not a relationship guy. I have never really been on a relationship, so I'm not really sure how do you supposed to execute that thing. But try to execute in the way it should supposed to be personal. You know how do you supposed to things and that. Let me tell you one thing. Communication is a much more better way to it. Words are way to kind of like somebody create a problem, create a chaos, but words are also a way that it kind of like fix the problem and things like that too. Okay, so talk, communicate, give them little bit affirmation, not too much, give them little bit affirmation, and try not to do kind of like somebody hurt them. Throughout the time it will gonna fix. throughout the time it will gonna fix and things like that. And when you fix, you know, then what is actually better way. Like basically is this thing, like basically, like I shouldn't supposed to give you all the kind of like some advice and things like that, because that advice is not kind of like to represent in every situation and things like that. It depends on who, it depends on you, it depends on your surrounding, it depends on personality, it depends on everything and things like that. It just you understand yourself, and you understand that particular person that you wanted to fix a relationship and things like that. You understand that person too, so you will gonna figure it out and things like that. But one thing is that try not to disrespect. Another thing is that give them little bit affirmation word, and give them space and permission to give them kind of like somebody, give them space, okay, yeah, and ask their permission, okay, yeah. And this is the way that you might gonna kind of like somebody fix the relationship, probably. I'm not really sure about regarding, because I didn't really have a relationship experience and things like that, but still this is the way that you should supposed to be mend. Is it the word they actually mentioned? They say mend. Yeah, you could mend the relationship by this particular process. I don't know, it's just my opinion. Whatever, this is it. Sometimes I just feel like that I'm kind of like somebody love guru or things like that. I am not a love guru. I never really been in a relationship. Why the fuck would I say this? Because why I'm kind of like giving this thing, how I supposed to kind of like giving this opinion and things like that, is because of that ki I am a human and I am understand human in much more better way. Okay, yeah, because I'm actually talking to myself and understand that ki what is actually being human means what and things like that. So that's why I just understand. I don't know the relationship because I never really been through, but I know the human thing. I know human thought process and things like that. So that's why I just, yeah, try to connect the dots and things like that. And somewhat something it is, probably. I don't know. Whatever is it. Thank you.